On this Thursday edition of Western Sports Roundup, we're saying hello to Houston once again. Super Series round number 1 for the set number 4 kicked off last night. They've got round 2 coming your way tonight. We're going to recap how they kicked things off. And then Adios Pantalones, well, he's on the mend right now after a little incident in San Antonio. The $1 million stud is busy recovering, but we're going to talk to Trisha Aldridge about the mare that is stepping up and helped her move on at Rodeo Houston. She'll tell us all about Ember. And then there's just something about bull rider Nick Tetz and the arena there in Lethbridge, Alberta. We're going to tell you about his 6-year streak there in Lethbridge at the PBR Canada Cup Series. All of that and more coming your way today on Western Sports Roundup.
Tets moves up to the handhold. Lethbridge, you got to come together right now like never before. Yes!
Well, welcome into our Cowboy Channel studios. I'm Katie Lucas, flying solo today for Western Sports Roundup, but that's okay. I've got a lot of great stories to keep me company. Starting off with the action out of Rodeo Houston. It's hard to believe we are already on Super Series number 4. They kicked off their rodeo action last night with round number 1 for the 4th out of 5 Super Series that we are going to see. Let's take a look at how the contestants fared on their first runs in Rodeo Houston for 2026. Starting off in the tie-down roping, Quade Hyatt was fastest on the night with this run of 8.7 seconds. He was right at the bottom of the draw, so he kind of got to sit back and watch how the competition went ahead of him. And they actually asked him at Rodeo Houston what he thought about being last out, how you can kind of analyze the situation. And he talked about how you can kind of take your foot off the gas just a little bit if you see it's a little softer. You can see right there he had to be 9.2 or better to win the go-round, and he just went ahead and was safe with that 8.7 second run. In the bareback riding, it is so good to see R.C. Landingham back exactly where he belongs. He's number 4 in the world standings right now. He sat out the NFR last year after a heated battle for the number 15 spot, and it looked like he was kind of dealing with a lot of injuries there at the end of the season. RC looks like he's in tip-top shape in 2026, and we saw it last night with this 87-point ride on Calgary Stampede's Zastron Acres to get the go-round win. On the team roping side of things, Brady Tryon and Peyton Bray, they were 6.7 seconds. You can see right here as it zooms out just how big and open this arena is. It was a long ways to go, and that actually doesn't look like Peyton Bray right there. But a great run for Brady Tryon and Peyton Bray at 6.7 seconds. They were your champions on night number 1 of Rodeo Houston for their set. They'll be back again for another one tonight. In the bronc riding, Cade Bruno drew up Calgary Stampede's weekend departure, a true veteran in the saddle bronc riding game. The horse, that is. He was 85.5 points for the number 5 man in the world standings. Cade's got $50,000 in his pocket so far for the 2026 rodeo season, but I know for him, he has big goals. He's been so close to world championships before. He's going to want to stack a lot of money up at Rodeo Houston. In the steer wrestling, one of my Canadians, Ryan Shuckberg, was 4-5 last night. You can see right there, this steer really didn't have a lot of action once he got down on the ground. He really had to muscle him around, got a great fall right there, but it was all on Ryan Shuckberg to make that happen. 4-5 was a mark for him. What a great run for the number 14 man in the world, who's had success at a lot of the building rodeos this year. Denver, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and now Rodeo Houston. It is the legacy barrel racer here in the barrel racing. AC Pinkston, 14.74 for her to kick things off there in Houston. She's number 8 in the world standings with $25,000 already won this year. Get this, last year she finished 29th in the world with $57,000 in earnings. So she's already almost halfway to where she got last year at the end of the year. Talking about the breakaway roping, we're always talking about Riley George. Last night she was 3.1 seconds on the gray. You can see just how fast this horse gets rolling, but that's the kind of horse you need at Rodeo Houston. You've got to see him out a little bit more, and then that big wide open arena allows these calves to really take off as Riley helps her horse to a stop there. 3.1 was the mark in the championship for round 1. We've seen some ups and downs in the bull riding round by round. There's been a couple rounds now where we've had no qualified rides or just one qualified ride, but Jordan Spears got the job done last night on damage control from the Surveys. The 6-time NFR qualifier was 87 points. Don't love that get off right there, Jordan Spears. I know he's going to want to leave a little cleaner on the next one, but either way, they're writing him a check for the first place prize there at Rodeo Houston to kick things off. Tonight, we're going to do it all over again. Super Series 4 round number 2 will kick off right after Western Sports Roundup this evening, so you can catch all of the action from the competitors in Super Series 4 next. That's all kicking off immediately after Western Sports Roundup, but we want to share one of our American Hats positive time stories now, and it is one that I think the entire rodeo world can get behind. Remember, back in November, the all-time leading futurity mare Hello Stella, the $1 million mare by the Goodbye Lane, contracted EHV1 in November. The horse was showing some neurological signs that went along with one of the more dangerous strains of the virus, but all along the way, Sharon Hall was positive about the power this mare held and kept fans in the loop of her healing progress. She kind of started hinting about a comeback this winter, and in early March she mentioned she was longing to send her down the alley again. That's exactly what she got to do at Rodeo Houston. She had a warm-up run first, so she said it was only her second run back, but she deserved to run there. It is absolutely a miracle and God's comeback story. Thank you to Sports Illustrated for that interview with Sharon Hall on Hello Stella coming back to Rodeo Houston. She took her to just one jackpot before she headed to Rodeo Houston, but as she posted about on her page, she said, "Hello Stella got me there to Rodeo Houston. She deserved to run there." What a comeback story, and that is exactly why that is our American Hats positive time story for your day today. Stay with us on Western Sports Roundup. We've got a lot more coming your way, including a little bit of a comeback story in the making. Adios Pantalones is sitting things out right now. We're going to tell you about the horse that is filling his shoes for now at Rodeo Houston. And then later, a developing story. Once we heard that Clovis Rodeo had decided to remove breakaway roping from the roster for 2026. We reached out to the board of directors and they will join us on the show later. That's coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of the PRCA and cowboys everywhere. Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
She's trained some great horses. Today, the mare Ember gets the call. She told me this horse always finds the barrel, and that seems to be the case. They are laying down a great run here. Good, snappy first and second. We finish it with the third. Let's cheer for Trisha Aldridge. That's a great run on that mare Ember.
That's the voice of Janie Johnson out of Rodeo Houston right there, talking about Trisha Aldridge and a new horse there competing at Rodeo Houston. Maybe not new to her, but new to rodeo fans. And I'm getting the chance now to visit with that very lady to talk about that horse. And Trisha, why you decided to run Ember at Rodeo Houston?
I knew that mare would find the barrels, and I borrowed her this year for Pendleton this past year, and so she just is always going to get in there and do her job and always try. And that's the best thing about horses that I've trained, is that I know I can put them in those kind of situations and they're going to step up and handle it.
And I mentioned it, Ember might be new to some of our rodeo fans, but this horse is certainly not new to you. Tell me a little bit about your history with Ember.
So we actually bought her as a 2-year-old from the Stock Ranch Dispersal, and so she's gotten to make a couple rodeos for me, but she's just really good. She was good her whole futurity year. I think we won about $60,000 on her, and she's just always a team player. And so she didn't get as much of the spotlight since we have Adios, but she's just always been a really reliable mare, and I'm really proud of her to be able to throw her to the Sharks at Houston and get back. I come into this with no expectations, so just to get her back into the next round is pretty awesome.
And you mentioned it, she really did have a strong futurity year. It was just hard to outshine that beautiful Palomino stallion there, but then her rodeo career has been really short so far, but impressive. You ran her at Pendleton, just about made the short round there. Had one other rodeo where you picked up a check with her on, and then you come back to the San Antonio semifinals. That was the first time you'd ridden her in months, and then turn right around and go to Rodeo Houston, one of the toughest setups in the rodeo game. How impressed are you with Ember?
Oh, so impressed, especially at San Antonio because I drove barrels, but she clocked. I probably should have sent her in there a little bit harder, but she had just never been in any kind of coliseum or anything even remotely close to that. So I didn't really know how she was going to handle it. But she didn't miss a beat. She's just like, okay, we're here, let's do it. So I was really proud of her. Houston is a very tough pin for a young horse, I think, and so just to get in there and find all the barrels is just super proud of her.
Yeah, looks like she might have a strong rodeo career ahead of her, but the reason that you are running Ember right now is obviously one that is a little bit bittersweet. Back us up a little bit and tell us what's going on with Adios.
So when we ran the last round at San Antonio, I could kind of feel he was just a tick off when I came out. And so I went ahead and had him, took him to the vet to just make sure that I got, an x-rays and make sure I get all clear before the semifinals. And that's how we found that hock fracture. So a little bit bittersweet, but as far as injuries go, this is definitely one of the better ones. He did have surgery with Dr. Marsh at ESMS, and everything went really great. And so I actually stayed with him to make sure that he got up good from the anesthesia. So I missed the first barrel practice at Houston. So, and that's just how awesome that mare did, is to be able to miss that practice and still show up and get checks in the rounds.
I think that just shows how much you care about Adios as well. You're putting your own competition aside to stay with him. What does the prognosis look like now? What kind of recovery time are we looking at?
So he's probably going to be in the stall about 30 days, but we're hoping to have him back by Calgary. So so far he's been really good. He hasn't been very sore on it or anything. We've done the first bandage change. He's you can see he's not letting it slow him down any. So I imagine that we will have a great time trying to hand walk him in the next couple of weeks. But he doesn't think anything is wrong. So that's the best way to be.
I don't know if I would want to be the first one to get on him after 30 days in a stall, Tricia.
He's a lot of bluff though, so like very playful, but every time I swing a leg over him, he just walks off like a rainer. So luckily he's just a lot of talk.
And speaking of talk, there's been a lot of talk online about the decisions that you make for your horse, and why was this the best decision to go ahead and have the surgery and bring him back to the rodeo game?
So I've had a few hock fractures before, but just for the longevity of the joint. So by putting a screw in it now, we're hoping that we can get it attached, get it feeling good, get it cleaned up, and that way we're not having to worry about like arthritis or fusing that hock later. So for the longevity of his career, it was just the better call to just go ahead and do it. And I know a lot of people said, oh, you could just retire him, but he's just not ready for that yet. So I honestly really feel like the beginning of this year, he's won me $27,000 already in just a few rodeos, and like he feels better coming back this year than he has the whole time. Like he's just maturing. So I'm really excited to like give him that opportunity still, and he's I think you're going to see him come back even better. So
yeah, I think at this time Adios would be awful bored in retirement. It seems like he loves competing just as much as you do. Obviously this threw a wrench in your goals for 2026, but what are those goals when he does return to competition? I think you probably excelled beyond your wildest dreams in 2025. How do we up it?
So I'm honestly not 100% sure what the plan is right now, but I just really hope that my other horses can kind of help keep it in play a little bit. And I just want to make sure that when he comes back, that he's able to continue on with his plans. And I think that you're going to see him catch up really fast just because of the athlete that he is. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm giving him a fair chance, whatever that looks like for us this year will be on him. But just it's off to a good start. At least, like, I feel like I jumped on a horse and I was not sure we would get any checks. So just to be able to get it to advance it, and I know that mare will just get a little more solid the more I get to stick on her with rodeos, just because she's always just kind of had to fill in randomly. So I think it'll be really cool to like give her a fair shot of like preparing for that setup and getting to compete instead of just having to like wing it every time we go anywhere. So.
And I think you just alluded to it right there. Safe to say we're going to see Ember at a lot of rodeos while Adios is recovering?
Definitely these first ones in the building stuff. And then I think between her and then I bought the Stone Cold Stinson horse. So I hope to have him for outside.
All right, well, we can't wait, Tricia. Best of luck with Adios's recovery. Love getting the chance to visit with you directly about his condition. And also best of luck in the semifinals at Rodeo Houston with Ember.
Thank you so much.
Trisha Aldridge has still been winning on another young horse, Ember. They were certainly impressive at Rodeo Houston. Coming up next on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to have a chance to visit with the folks at the Clovis Rodeo about their decision to remove breakaway roping from their roster of events. That's next on Western Sports Roundup. As we welcome you back to Western Sports Roundup, 2026 will mark the 112th running of the Clovis Rodeo, and it was recently announced that the board of directors for the Clovis Rodeo has decided to remove breakaway roping from the roster of the events at this year's 2026 Clovis Rodeo. So we reached out to the board of directors and have two of the gentlemen on with us now on Western Sports Roundup. Vence Genco, Dan Rigsby. Guys, thanks so much for joining us from out in California.
Thank you for having us.
I want to visit about the statement that was recently released about the decision to remove breakaway roping. Tell me a little bit about that decision from the board of directors.
Well, we started negotiating or trying to negotiate with them back in December of 25 at the convention, and just had difficulty, getting a hold of people and them calling back. And during original conversations I had way back when, they knew we were very clear with them what we were wanting to add and how we were wanting to slowly get to where they wanted us to be.
And in your article, you cited there was that difference of opinion regarding the prize money and the term of the agreement. The other events have $30,000 added. Breakaway, you had climbed up to $15,000. So what was that difference of opinion or the term that you were not able to come to an agreement on?
The amounts? Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Yes.
We'd actually moved it from 15 to 1750. And we've moved it at least twice since we started. When we started, we started at 12,500, and we give them two head progressive. So I think we've treated them pretty well going forward. We just couldn't come to agreement on the final numbers.
Yeah, and Vince, for you, it's clear this was not an easy decision.
No.
I think one thing that you pointed out as well in the press release about the decision was that Clovis was an early adopter of equal money for barrel racing and team roping. How important was it to have the goal eventually to have breakaway be equal money with the other events?
Well, I think it is important, and we agree. I mean, we've always told the girls, yeah, you're going to get equal money, but the equal money is going to be on our schedule. It's one thing to ask for equal money, and it's another thing to demand for equal money. And we have a budget to work in. We own our own rodeo grounds, unlike a lot of rodeos I know are. They're county fairs or they're state owned or city owned or whatever, but we own our own rodeo grounds. We have all the upkeep that we have to do. And really, you know, it's not just the prize money and the cost of the cattle that we have to look at. And I, you know, I know there's a lot of committee people probably watching this, and they'll understand where we're coming from, because, you know, for us to put on an extra day of slack, we have judges, secretaries, timers, ambulance, extra hotel rooms, you know, extra days of hotel rooms. We got to pay our electric eye guy. We got to pay the veterinarian. We got the scoreboard guys. I mean, it's just, you know, there's a lot of extra expense for just that one day of slack that we do for the girls. And so that's why we bring it up on our schedule. We try to bring the money up on our schedule to where, you know, we feel we're being fair, you know, to the girls. And it's just a difference of opinion between us and the WPRA board. In a lot of the comments we've been hearing, you know, the girls said, we love to rope at Clovis and we'd come for whatever, you know, for whatever amount. So I think there's a disconnect. My personal feeling is there's a disconnect between the WPRA board and their breakaway ropers out here in the West and maybe all the breakaway ropers, you know, I don't know.
And obviously, this is a story that we ourselves are just starting to follow here and is developing day by day. So this is a little bit early maybe to ask this question, but is there an opportunity for breakaway roping to come back in the future?
You never say never, you know, so is there? I can't honestly give us answer for that today, but I would never say never on that.
And it'll be a board decision, Katie, and, you know, in the future, this decision was a board decision, and any decisions made about it will be board decisions in the future too. You know, there's 18 of us on the board, and some of us have been on it longer than others. But anyway, it's you know, we discussed. There was a lot of thought put into this. Believe me,
this was not a quick decision, not an easy decision, but we felt we had to do it and stay within our budget.
Well, Vince and Dan, I truly appreciate your time, truly appreciate you allowing us a little more insight into this developing story here. I know we're right around the corner from your event kicking off April 22nd through the 26th. Best of luck with the event this year, and we'll continue to follow this developing story. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Katie. We appreciate you letting us tell our side of the story.
Yeah, we appreciate the time, guys. Your board of directors, or part of your board of directors there from the Clovis Rodeo, Vence Genco, Dan Rigsby. Thank you guys for joining me. Coming up next on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to head north of the border. The PBR Canada Cup champ, Nick Tetz. He will be joining us next on the show.
The handhold. Lethbridge, you got to come together right now like never before. Yes!
Was there ever any doubt?
Well, I think there is absolutely no doubt when it comes to our PBR Canada Cup Series fans. Nick Tetz is going to ride, and he is going to win in this 2026 season. That's exactly what he has done all season long, and that's exactly why he joins me now on Western Sports Roundup. Nick from sunny Arizona, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Katie.
You're hanging out in Arizona right now, but we're talking about the work that you did in Lethbridge, Alberta. For the last 6 years, no one has walked away with that championship but you. What is going on with you in Lethbridge?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always just treated me good. It's kind of kicked off my run to my first Canadian title, and then yeah, there's just an energy or something in that arena that I guess me and it just kind of vibe with. So. Yeah, I always seem to show up, always seem to draw good, and yeah, I always have a lot of fun there.
So let's talk a little bit about those draws. Round one, 85.7 points for you on Counting Sheep from Bold Pro Rodeo. What do we like about that bull?
Yeah, well, he was actually a re-ride, so I ended up getting was only 73 or something on my first one. So yeah, I didn't really have too much time to think, and I just gave my rope to Tannerino, and he went and hung it for me, and we ended up going out. Didn't have much time to think about it, and yeah, got the job done on that one. And it just kind of, after that, we were just rolling, so it was good.
That quick turnaround to get on the re-ride bull, does that help you? You mentioned it a couple times. You didn't have much time to think. Is that kind of helpful for you as a competitor?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I like going and getting on practice bulls and constantly getting on all the time. So I think it definitely helped me, or that's helped me with those kind of quick turnarounds, because there will be lots of times where there'd be bulls loading and I just throw my rope on. I don't even take my helmet off. So, you know, I think it definitely helped me, but I definitely realized that I need to start going for some more runs because I was severely out of breath after those two.
Gotta get that training up a little bit, but obviously your training held up for round number 2. Linebacker from Scory Bucking Bulls was your opponent, 85.8. What did you do so well on that one, and what did that bull do so well as well?
Yeah, Aaron Roy kind of just told me, he said he's got some kind of timing change up that happens at 3 seconds, and yeah, I don't really know what he did, whether he stepped away from me or kind of stuck back, but I was kind of waiting for that. And then once we got rolling, then it was just trying not to mess him up and just keep riding him and stay in the middle of him. And, you know, he's a really big bull, comes from the Scories, and, you know, they're all big when they come from Scories. So definitely a little scary, but yeah, they all ride so good. So it's just a blast.
You know, in just 2 rides, you've kind of told me a lot about yourself and your mental game. You seem to be able to handle that quick turnaround where there's not much time to think and prepare. But then it also sounds like you like to do a little research and have conversations with these guys about the bulls that you're getting on. How do you balance both?
Yeah, I think you I kind of have like my set guys that I'll kind of ask or get their opinion on. I try not to find too much out about them, just more or less just kind of how they feel, and kind of go from there. And then, you know, also too, everything's moving so fast. You don't really have too much time to think on them. So it's just all reaction when it comes down to it. So as long as you feel good and you're ready to go, the rest seems to take care of itself.
It's clear you were feeling good after this ride in the championship round. Piper from Foley Bucking Bulls, 89.9. That's the high score of the weekend. Why did you and Piper just fit so well, and how did you make it look so easy?
Yeah, Piper, another good bull, come from Foley Bucking Bulls, and you know, I got on him in Saskatoon. It was my second event back from my brother, and I rode him, and I didn't feel like myself at that point. So, you know, I kind of was still kind of battling some demons and just trying to get back into riding shape and kind of get that mentality back. So, you know, I was happy to have him when I'm feeling myself and ready to go. So, honestly, it was a no-brainer. The only thing is he's kind of been sitting around a round bale, so he was probably a little heavier than normal. So I feel like in the summertime when I get the chance to pick him again, I feel like we're probably going to be 90. So yeah, that one will be good.
Okay, you and Piper both, you'll get your wind up a little bit and you'll rematch a little bit later this year. But consistency has been key for you this year, Nick. You're 10 for 10 in the PBR Canada Cup series so far. You know, you talked about in the past battling some demons, battling through some things. What do you think you're getting so right in 2026?
You know, I think after coming back from my broken leg, it's just been never kind of taking anything for granted. You know, the sport can kind of get taken away from you at any point in time. So just going out and enjoying it and doing it because you love it. Nothing's guaranteed. And I feel like that's a big thing that's kind of helped me over the last little bit, is just knowing that at any minute it could get taken away, but going out, enjoying it, having fun, and embracing all the moments that come with it has been a really big thing for me.
Winning is a lot of fun too, and that's exactly what you've been doing this season, and that's why you lead the number 2 in the standings, Cody Coverchuk, by 352 points. But I think I know you well enough to know that that's not going to make you take your foot off the gas one bit.
No, it's a long season, and there's still a lot of bull ridings to go. And even like I was just talking about, just the injuries, you never know when they could come and how long you'll be sitting out for. So, it's nice to have a bit of a gap like that already built up early in the year, but also too, it can disappear really quickly too. So, we're gonna try to keep our foot on the pedal here and just kind of keep going at it and just keep going to bull riding, keep having fun, because that's the best way to do it.
There, I can imagine there's some big goals ahead for you as well. If you're able to win your 3rd PBR Canada championship, you'll tie Aaron Roy for the most ever. Is that something that you sit back and think about as you visualize the next bull and the next bull in your season?
No, not really. I just, I think in past seasons I've gotten really caught up on trying to, set high goals and being mindful of it. I think at times having those goals is really good, because when you kind of get into the thick of it and you don't feel like going and getting on somewhere, it's a smaller event and you feel like it doesn't mean as much, you can kind of use that goal to help you and help motivate you to keep going and put your best foot forward. But it's not something that I'm constantly thinking about. I'm just thinking about going out, riding to the best of my abilities, and kind of letting the rest kind of take care of itself.
Well, whatever you're doing, Nick, it's obviously working. Congratulations on the success so far, and congratulations on your 6th victory there in Lethbridge. Something about you in that arena just works.
I guess so. Thanks, Katie.
That's Nick Tetz, your #1 in the PBR Canada Cup Series bull riding. Coming up next, we're headed to Rodeo Houston. Super Series #4 continues this evening with round #2. We'll give you a little preview of who we have our eyes on.
I had so many people ask me what kind of program I've got him on. We get up and we do push-ups and pull-ups. He's got to rope this many a day or he's not going, and it's not like that. He pays attention so much, and it's some of the stuff he's asked me. It's crazy to me that he's asked me at the age he's at. I hadn't told, some stuff I haven't said to him just because I don't want to say it and get him confused. I want to wait till I think he's ready to throw this out there. And then there's been a few times, especially here lately, he'll ask me something that I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right. And I just, as far as coaching him, I let him go pretty much. If I see just little things that's either hindering what he's doing or could create a problem, just because he's young, I feel like he still thinks when he gets to roping good, he can get in a rhythm, and just all of a sudden then you kind of let off and then you might miss one. Yeah. And I just kind of remind him every time you got to start over, keep doing what you're doing, but you got to remember every steer is a new steer. Yeah. Focus, do this, do that, stay in your deal. And then, just stuff. If I think he's ready to, I'll just throw an idea out there. Hey, what if you tried this? And then I'll step back and I try to let him find his own stuff, because really, obviously there's some stuff when they're learning, you can tell them and they need to know and all that stuff. But then he's to the point now, he ropes good enough where we can all tell each other whatever, but when you get out there, it's all you.
That's just a small taste of a conversation between our guys at Let's Freaking Rodeo and a true legend in the team roping game. Jade Corkill was on their podcast, and you can catch that podcast on the Cowboy Channel Plus app right now. Let's recap our top 3 headlines of the day, brought to you by our friends at Veterison. Adios Pantalones. Well, he's on the mend after San Antonio. He's had hock surgery. He's going to be out potentially till around Calgary Stampede time. Trisha Aldridge shared the story of the horse that is hopping into his shoes for the time being. Nick Tetz also won his 6th straight PBR Canada Cup title in Lethbridge, Alberta. 6 years in a row, he has been the champion there in Lethbridge. So there's just something about Nick and that arena. Rodeo Houston Super Series 4 is also underway right now. We're getting ready to kick off round #2 for that 4th Super Series as we get closer and closer to wrapping things up at Rodeo Houston. And we're getting closer and closer to saying hello, Rodeo Houston. Super Series number 4, round 2 kicks off right now. I'm Katie Lucas. Thanks so much for watching Western Sports Roundup. Have a great night and enjoy Rodeo Houston.